And coffee. The Express editorial this morning says that Keith Christopher Rowley crossed the line by attacking the media house, by attacking the Express, by calling for a media person, a reporter, to be fired, by trying to use his office to thwart and to edit and to censor the media. He crossed the line into tyrannical dictatorship, into the realm of totalitarianism. The Express knows that he crossed the line. But Express, you have been allowing Rowley to cross the line since inception. Rowley crossed the line in 1969 as a teacher when he used his power position to get pum from a little child, from a girl of school age. He was a teacher in a power position. That was crossing the line. Rowley crossed the line when he was first in government, and then had the opportunity and the power and gravel roll from by a hospital to somewhere by him, and a full integrity commission report file was handed to the DPP, but it was handed too early. They didn't notify him. Rowley crossed the line as Minister of Integrated Planning and Development in 2003 by giving his friend's son, and his friend's son joined a company, and 3 months later giving them outline approval to increase the asset base astronomically. Keith Rowley crossed the line as Minister of Housing between November 2003 till 2007 with Noel Garcia, with Faris Al-Rawi, with Andre Montai, buying land from Rahal, his good friend and business partner, the man he wanted to be chairman of the PNM in Greenvale, and starting construction of houses for human beings without the approvals from Town and Country, without the change of use from agricultural to residential. And it was a floodplain, and people still flooding. Rowley crossed the line at Las Alturas. Rowley has been crossing the line as Minister of Housing. Rowley crossed the line when he attacked Patrick Manning because a contractor didn't get a contract from Calderheart. Rowley attacked and brought down his whole government. Rowley crossed the line when he attacked Patrick Manning to become leader of the opposition. Rowley crossed the line when he said he walked Obia on a former prime minister because he put him out of somewhere. Rowley crossed the line with Emailgate, going in the parliament knowing he had nonsense for 6 months, knowing that there weren't emails, and coming to the parliament and lying for an hour and 15 minutes. That line was a terrible line that he crossed. Rowley crossed the line since becoming prime minister by approving the Bridgeman's contract after scuttling and shutting down and breaking down the sea bridge and nearly cutting off the people of Tobago. But he approved it on the phone while he was in Tobago, a charter party agreement. Rowley scuttled tenders and said the board didn't find boats when we know they found 11 vessels, 4 of which were fantastic, from the same shipbuilders that he and Stuart Young eventually procured. Rowley crossed the line when he went to procure ferries for 1.5 billion and then got 2 cutlass vessels also, as if he's shopping in a parlor. Rowley crossed the line with procurement when he took the procurement legislation that Kamla Prasad Bissessa passed with special majority, and he gutted it to legalize thieving. Rowley crossed the line when he was the substantive Minister of Housing, and an HDC contract with a Chinese company came, and he then, when got caught by the same Express, say it was corrupt, but he didn't know how it reached cabinet. But he was the substantive Minister of Housing who had to sign the red file. Rowley crossed the line while we under shutdown, lockdown and broke down, and citizens could not come home with a PNM exemption policy, only #1 in the world to keep citizens out of the country while COVID-19 coming in. But he opened the borders for a sanctioned vice president of Venezuela, a sanctioned government member with a sanctioned plane, with PDVSA officials, and say he didn't know them, even though he was in a conference with them over 8 months before and met each and every one of them. Rowley crossed the line when he attacks women and attacks Kamla and attacks anyone with misogynistic accusations and insults. Rowley crossed the line when he did not agree with Gary Griffith and lost confidence and started to communicate with the chairman of the Police Service Commission. Rowley crossed the line when he ensured that the merit list for an independent Police Service Commission would be thwarted by interfacing and misbehaving in public office, by going to the president and ensuring that a merit list duly delivered that was constitutionally her job to notify Parliament was thwarted and allowed to be taken back by the same chairman of the Police Service Commission that Rowley had been interfacing with without the full approval or the majority approval of the Police Service Commission. Rowley has crossed the line by appointing DCP Jacobs to act as a financial officer, and then he's giving him advice through his minister, Fitzgerald Hines, who's giving him advice and his thoughts, and he fires 19 people and then leaves his 2 children and Miss Ramgalam child there. The police, Rowley crossed the line by ensuring Trinidad and Tobago did not have a commissioner of police. Rowley crossed the line every time in the Parliament and the Senate by dictating and putting a speaker and a president of the Senate who thwart the speaking time of the opposition and thwart democracy and mute mics. Rowley crossed the line by attacking media anytime one of you dared to print one article that was near to the truth, but he crossing the line forever. Rowley continues to cross the line. Rowley crossed the line by not filling out his Form B and then coming and waving a Form A that shows us more questions and answers. Rowley crossed the line by signing his Form A that had false information on it because he paid 1.2 million for the house, but it was not valued at 1.2 million, which he put. It was valued at 1.68 million because he paid 33,500 stamp duty, which meant the value is 1.68. Rowley crossed the line by not declaring his $468,000 personal benefit. Rowley crossed the line by implementing harsh measures that show discrimination across the board to the Hindu community, with open fire cremation still being banned, rivers not open, beaches closed for no reason, opening water parks of his friend and financiers while keeping beaches closed. Rowley crossed the line by attacking Watson Duke and going into Tobago and spending money as if it was bribery, with 50 million here, grants here, doing all sorts of things. Rowley crossed the line by appointing a PNM niece, the niece of a former PNM minister, the head of the EBC, to dictate and to control the EBC. Rowley crossed the line when he went in Parliament to instruct the EBC to get 3 different seats, and they cut out 3 from in PNM and still get cut tail. Rowley crossed the line when he decided to intervene in all independent institutions. Rowley crossed the line when he have independent senators on some of his boards. Rowley crosses the line across the board. Rowley crosses the line by having ministers procure Galleon's Passage and ministers procuring. Ministers do not procure. Rowley has crossed every single line in Trinidad and Tobago. Rowley crossed the COVID-19 line. Rowley crossed the health regulations line by inviting people to Tobago, and Tobago is reeling ever since then with death and destruction. Rowley's COVID-19 response and his irresponsibility of not protecting the borders crossed the line. There is no line that Rowley didn't cross, and he was allowed to cross the line express because of people like you, media like The Guardian, who wrote an editorial yesterday to attack Kamala Prasad-Bissessar in the most vile way, most untruths, most lies, most disgusting editorial ever, to lie on her since February 2021. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar has been leading the charge to get vaccinations from India for our people to save our lives. She wrote letters, she begged, every time she speaks, over 40 occasions, she tells people, educate to vaccinate, go and talk to your doctor, get your vaccination. Vaccination is one of the tools to protect you. Get vaccination. You come in and in The Guardian yesterday and lie on Kamala Prasad-Bissessar saying she never publicly said for people to take vaccines. You have allowed Rowley to cross every single line of propriety. Rowley, who pretends he's a father, ignore a child for 44 years. You all allow him to go to become the prime minister for who to look up to. He's a scumbucket. Rowley crossed every single line there is to be crossed. And you only know now because he crossed your line by Fire Bunny Boy Express.